The first question on the review is asking if the function is a polynomial. Remember, for it to be a polynomial, it has to have real number coefficients and positive integer exponents. So this first one, 16, -2, and 19 are real numbers. 4 and 1 are positive integers. So yes, that is a polynomial. Number 2, you can't have x as an exponent, so no, that one is not a polynomial. You can't have x as an exponent, you can't have negative exponents, you can't have any i's anywhere in your function, so anything like that would make it not a polynomial. Okay, this problem has 3 parts, and I tried to make that very obvious at the top of the problem, so make sure when you see this problem on the test, remember your test comes to you in a randomized order, so when you see the problem that says this problem has 3 parts, make sure that you actually scroll down to see each part. Okay, first of all, we're writing the polynomial in standard form. That means the term with the largest exponent has to come first, so we want the -5x to the 6th to come first. You can type this into your keyboard. To raise it to an exponent, you use the caret, which is the little upside down V above your 6, or you can use this button right here. That is the exponent button. You do have to push the right arrow either on your keyboard or on here to get out of the exponent before you type in your next term. Our next term is plus 6x to the 3rd. Oh, sorry about that. And then we want the plus 2x. And then the -5 is our last term. Okay, using this polynomial, the degree of the polynomial. The degree is the largest exponent. That would be a 6. The leading coefficient is the number in front of that term. That would be -5. So that's a drag and drop. Or not drag and drop, that's a select from the list type of a problem. Select the sketch that best describes the end behavior of the polynomial. So the leading coefficient is negative. That means the right side has to point down. So I know it has to be one of these 2 boxes on the right. The degree is an even number, so the left side has to do the same thing as the right side. So that would be my correct answer. Again, there are 3 parts to this problem. Scroll down to answer each part. Use the polynomial graph to answer the question. Okay, this is the problem that we didn't really do in our notes, but honestly, it's an easy problem. They're asking for what values of x is the function increasing and for what values is it decreasing. Increasing means that the function is rising from left to right. So the only chunk of this graph where it's increasing is this chunk in the middle. So this chunk right here. And it says, I don't know if you can see my mouse, so I'm going to click a couple times. Hopefully that means you can see what I'm talking about. Actually, I'm going to sketch it over here because that might help. So it looks like this. It is increasing in this piece of the graph. The x values in that chunk, right here is an x value of -2, and right here is an x value of +1. So from -2 to +1, that middle chunk of the graph, the function is increasing. The function is decreasing in this piece and this piece. Well, this piece over here is -8, -infinity to -2, and this piece is 1 to +infinity. So from -infinity to -2, and from 1 to infinity, that's where this function is decreasing. Your values that you select should end up covering the whole graph. -infinity to -2, -2 to 1, 1 to infinity, nothing missing in there. The degree of this one, the 2 ends point in opposite directions, so the degree must be odd. The right side points down, so the leading coefficient must be negative. Evaluate when x equals -1. Our function is -2x to the 3rd plus 3x squared minus x plus 1. So everywhere that there was an x, I put parentheses, -1. You can then type this into your calculator. -2 parentheses, -1 raised to the third plus 3 times -1 squared minus -1. 7 should be your answer. So click in here and just type in the number 7. You also could use synthetic division for this if you wanted to. Our coefficients are -2x to the third, 3x squared, -1x, and 1. We're evaluating this for -1. That would be +2, which is 5. That's -5, so that's -6. That's +6. And we get 7 as our answer. If you use synthetic division, it allows you to use mental math to get you to your answer without having to do as much work. So if you don't want to use your calculator, synthetic division is a great choice. Find the difference. The big thing to remember when you're subtracting polynomials is that you must distribute the negative. You have to subtract all 3 pieces of that second polynomial. So we're doing -8x squared minus 7x minus 7 minus a -5x squared, so that's plus a 5x squared, minus a -x, that's plus x, and then minus a -8, that's plus 8. And I just stacked these with their like terms so that I could add these a little bit more easily. -8 and 5 is -3x squared. That's, oops, that's all of them. -7x and x, that makes -6x. That's eliminating some of our answers. That's good. And then -7 and 8 gives us +1. So that is our correct answer. Find the sum. We're really just combining like terms. 6x squared, definitely not that. 4x and 3x would give us 7x, +7x. That means that that one's going to have to be our correct answer. The -2 and the -4 would give us the -6. When we find the product, we need to double distribute. X times x squared is x to the third. X times -3x is -3x squared. X times -9 is -9x. We're done distributing the x. Now we need to distribute the 3. 3 times x squared is +3x squared. 3 times -3x is -9x. And 3 times -9 is -27. All right, then we combine our like terms. I've got x cubed. That term cancels itself out. Minus 18x minus 27. And that is that option right there. When you have a binomial squared, 3x minus 4 squared means 3x minus 4 times itself. Now double distribute. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times -4 is -12x. -4 times 3x is -12x. -4 times -4 is +16. Combine our like terms. We've got 9x squared minus 24x plus 16. Division. You can choose to do long division or synthetic division. It says be sure to show your work on your paper copy. That's because this is an old test from last year and I forgot to change that. But honestly, you should show your work. You can click the little paper clip and submit your work if you would like. So if you do this problem on the test and you don't get the answer, like you don't get any of these answers as your answer choice, I would recommend attaching a picture of your work. That way I could look back at it and see maybe where you went wrong. I think synthetic division is the way to go here. But keep in mind, -2x cubed, there should be an x squared term and it's missing. And then 5x and then minus 12. So in synthetic division, we're going to do -2, 0, 5, and -12. We're dividing by x minus 2, so we need to put a positive 2 here. Remember, this number needs to be the opposite of whatever you're dividing by. Drop that negative 2 down. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Add. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Add. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Add. Negative 18 is our remainder. That honestly should tell you which one is the correct answer. And then this is negative 2x squared minus 4x minus 3 minus the 18 over x minus 2. But if you do this correctly, your remainder really should help you to pick out the correct answer. And that is it. Let's make sure that I did everything correctly. Yay, 100%. All right, if you have any questions, make sure you let me know.